And to Joe Banister, you can follow him online at freedomabovefortune.com. Look forward to more exclusive interviews in the future. All right, when we come back, we'll introduce this week's Enemy of the State, answer your questions as we dip into the mailbag. But first, let's take a look at our picture of the week.
Restore the Republic, the social network for the modern revolutionary, activating the silent masses into action. At restoretherepublic.net, we're seizing power from the globalist world controllers and handing it back to the people. Restoretherepublic.net, where patriots rally on the objective. The Liberty Bell tolls once again for a movement on the rise. Make restoretherepublic.net your place to unify and activate the revolution.
Welcome back to the Reality Report, your home for independent news unspoiled from corporate influence. All right, now it's time for my favorite part of the show when I get to read your questions and your comments. We begin today with an email from Marv. And Marv writes, I'm surprised at your rant against Beck and Fox. Fox is the only network that I know that gives a voice to the conservatives. Did someone slip you a Mickey? And you woke up with a migraine? Or are you just jealous they didn't include you in the 9/12 March on D.C.? They're on our side, you silly man. Beck is so opposed to Obama and all of his cohorts. You should be thrilled, not demeaning and bad-mouthing their efforts. Your jealous rant really makes me wonder if you aren't jealous that it isn't you on the Fox network. We have enough opposition in the media. We do not need any in-house squabbling. Yeah, I wouldn't really put myself in their house anyway. Marv, attacking Obama and the left is not the answer, okay? How many times do I got to drill this? Beck and Fox are the controlled opposition, forcing us to look at the puppets while the masters work the strings. Am I jealous that I didn't organize the 9/12 March? Not at all. But I do have this question, okay? And I raised this question before. Where were the people like Ron Paul? Where was Ed Griffin? Where was Bob Schultz? Tom Woods? Where was Peter Schiff? Right? Where were they? That is what really, really bothers me. The national organizers of the march, Freedom Works, is an inside the Beltway organization. And the sponsors, people who put their banners on that website, okay? You brought this up in the email. They had to pay money to have their banners displayed. So it doesn't really mean much who was on that website, okay? They bought their placement. Now, if I was on the Fox network, I would be beholden to their corporate master, Rupert Murdoch, who happily wines and dines with his globalist cohorts at the Council on Foreign Relations. But, if they give me a contract that allowed me to have complete editorial control over my content without influence from the corporate elite spin masters, I might consider. But I don't think that would happen. I really don't. I mean, are they going to let someone criticize Fox on Fox? No. Until then, I intend to build my own network outside of the reach and control of the corporate-controlled media. Besides, I've already reached out to Beck, I've reached out to Napolitano, only to be turned away and ignored. And what does that tell me? It tells me that they have no interest in my brand of conservative media. Thanks for your feedback. What's a Mickey? Next, Valerie G. writes, the show is jam-packed with the critically important info, and your delivery is most enjoyable, with just the right amount of appropriate sarcasm. Thanks for your endless efforts. Since last November, I realized we all have turned a corner. We must keep the heat up now and strike when the iron is hot. Bingo, Valerie. Thanks for your vote. We'll keep delivering the info with our special dose of reality. And yes, the corner has been turned, but don't take the Glenn Beck detour. Our final email this week comes from LP, and he says, I'm not sure what I am in terms of my political status. Like Rush Limbaugh, I like Rush Limbaugh. I'm not sure what to think about Glenn Beck. I absolutely believe in almost everything Alex Jones has on his website, and I'm a huge fan of Jesse Ventura. I also love Ron Paul and believe everything Aaron Russo declared. I am trying to see your side, but I'm confused. Are we on the same side? Help me out here. LP, guess what? From time to time, I do turn on Rush and agree with his conservative viewpoints. I'll even drop in on Glenn Beck occasionally to see what he's saying. But the minute they start making it a conservative, liberal, right versus left issue, I know what they're doing, perpetuating the division in this country. Once I see them going after the puppet masters and not the puppets, I'll have a little bit more respect for them. So, are we on the same side? I would say a resounding yes. Alex, Ron, Russo, Jesse, and myself, we are all speaking the same language. That includes you, my friend. Do you want to send us some show feedback that could get read on the air? Send an email to feedback@freedom.tv. Include your name and town and whatever you feel. It may just end up on the show. All right, who is this week's enemy of the state? Who else? The Internal Revenue Service, for their dirty tricks, intimidation tactics, and downright terror techniques employed upon the American people. Joe Banister said it best at the end of our interview. He said the federal income tax system is deceitful. The IRS is very violent towards the American people every day by the thousands and by the hundreds of thousands. There you have it. You heard it here, folks. We're not afraid. Thank you for joining me on this edition of the Reality Report. Please support the message of the independent media by forwarding this video to your friends, your family, your coworkers, and you know what? You can follow us on Twitter. That's right, @Reality Report. You can follow us there, tweet and retweet and Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Okay. All right, folks. I'm Gary Franchi, and remember, I am not here to make you a follower. I'm here to make you a leader among the people. Good night.